Hello and welcome back. Let's talk about state in SwiftUI. So we've been using state keyword for a while now, and if you have been following along, you noticed that we never took time to basically take a pause and understand what state is. So let's do that today. Let's talk about state itself. So in SwiftUI, state is basically a decorated property or decoration on property that needs observing in local struct scope. Okay, what it means is basically you take an example, a variable, and decorate it with state variable, and then you actually observe the changes on that variable. So let's take a look at this with an example. So we'll create a view with a background color, and button click will change that color. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a variable, back color, and we can actually mark this private, and let's give it a gray color like that. Okay, and now we're going to use this view inside this variable inside our VStack. So we're going to create rounded rectangle. Let's create that with corner radius as 10, and let's give it a background as back color. Now let's create a button, and this time we're going to create a function actually here. So we can call that function change color to change the color of this rectangle. So back color dot red. Okay, so then we can simply say change color, and we can give this button a text. Change color like so. Okay, so if I okay, let's go ahead and call self dot. Okay, if we go ahead and run this, you're gonna notice that we get this error that cannot assign a property self to immutable cannot assign a property in self as immutable, right? And basically it's suggesting that marking this property mutating is basically gonna make self mutable. All right, so we know that in general the structs that we create have mutating keyword that will satisfy the compiler, but it's only in general struct cases. Now this is a special struct. It actually conforms to this view protocol, right? That's actually the main backing layer for SwiftUI, and it's not going to work in this case. However, applying add state in front of our variable will fix the issue. So how, you may ask, how is that different from what we use, right? So let's understand the state decoration on variable itself. So what a state variable does is basically it converts a regular variable into an observable variable. And whenever state changes, meaning any of the variables that are marked with state changes its value at runtime, it actually marks the UI to be updated. It's a very similar concept in any other and various other reactive programming languages, and Flutter and React Native use this concept in a similar fashion as well, to invalidate the UI whenever the state changes. Okay, observing state meaning that the view will invalidate and the body property will update itself to reflect the changes in that state. So as soon as you change your back color variable, in this case, the view will re-render, okay, to show the new changes in the UI. Now, by view, I mean this body property that we are creating here. So if we mark this as at state, okay, and if we try again, you see the error is gone, and we can actually successfully run our sample. So if I click on this change color, it should actually update. Well, it's a background, so it's not a background. We want to give it a foreground, and Okay, so that's actually good. Yeah, let's rerun this and change color, and there we go. Our foreground color of this rectangle has been changed into the color that we desire, right? So state in SwiftUI basically manages the storage of any property that you declare with @state symbol. So when the state value changes, the view itself will invalidate its appearance and recompute the body property. Now the state instance isn't the value itself, it's simply a means of reading and writing the value. Now, to access the underlying value of the state, you can use value property named wrapped value. So, for example, you can actually go and you can access a backing storage for this state variable underscore back color. Now, if you notice, we did not create that back color right here anywhere, right? But we can actually still access it. And if you try to print, so let me stop this. And if you try to print dot wrapped value into the console, you're going to notice that we actually get the new value that we have stored inside this back color. So if I click on this change color, you get the red back. Okay, so that's actually how state is basically observing these changes on the property itself. Now, state property is only accessible from inside the view's body, and it's local to the view, which is why it's a common practice to basically declare that state property as a private property in order to prevent any client of that view from accessing it. Now, to get the binding, so let's say that's one aspect, and let's say you wanna bind your state variable for local use and local update, then you can use dollar prefix, for example, to use that. So let's get ahead and take a look at an example of that as well. So I'm going to create a new variable called name of type string, and I'm going to initialize with empty value. And here, instead of this, we can actually simply remove all this, and we can create a text. And text is going to basically print name. Okay? And then we're going to create a text field. Text field, we're going to have enter name as placeholder and dollar sign name. Okay, this is how we are observing, basically binding this text field to the name, and any changes into the text field is going to get reflected into this name variable in the state. And as soon as we change, this body property is going to be marked to be recomputed and re-updated, and you're going to see that change being rendered into the UI immediately. So let's go ahead and resume and take a look at it. And okay, let me add text field style so we know where our text box is. And I'm going to play this, or I'm going to run basically. And let's go ahead and type something. So we have empty text field. Now look at how when we are changing, how our view is updating and how fast it is. So as you can see, we are typing name, and as we are typing, the value for view is getting updated. So that's actually how you can create these observable variables inside your view, basically, to observe the changes and update your UI according to that. And that's what state is used for. Okay, there is another concept called binding. So we use slightly like a form of binding here, but there's more into the binding. So what we're going to do is in the next video, we're going to explore how binding works, just like we explored state in this video. Okay, so thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in next video. Thank you.